Hello, and welcome to this segment of Loving Life. I'm Charlie Silva, board-certified hypnotist and certified professional life coach. I've helped many people take back control of their life and achieve their goals by asking the following question. Loving life, are you loving yours? If so, wonderful. If not, why not? If there's something that's stopping you from loving your life, what is it? And let's find ways to overcome it. If you missed any previous segments of Loving Life, you can watch them online at the MTN18 website, mtn18.com. Now, as viewers of Loving Life know, hypnosis is a dynamic, natural process. Scientific research has shown that it's a process of harnessing a person's natural, deeper neurocognitive processes which shape our everyday experience. It's the use of language and communication to direct attention, lead cognition, and seed ideas for the purpose of leading a person into a reality that they desire to achieve. As noted by the technical definition of hypnosis, it helps you bypass the critical factor or filter of the conscious mind and establish acceptable selective thoughts. This is what a hypnotist shows a client how to do during each session, easily and naturally. What is so natural about it is that we are doing this to ourselves all day, every day, whether we realize it or not. You are shaping your own perception and experience through your internal communication and processing. When you understand this and harness it, you can transform your life for the better in so many ways. As one of my colleagues is fond of saying, be careful what you say to yourself. You might just be listening. You see, you co-create your experience of each reality each day. What you perceive as the world around you is not really the same world for everyone else. It's the world as it occurs to you. Through your senses and meaning-making processes, you take the raw data presented to your senses and shape it into experience. You do this subconsciously, based on your subconscious programming. If this seems a little abstract, remember that your perceptions drive your behavior and responses. Think about your emotions. Each of your emotions, negative and positive, is driven by your perceptions. Think about your reactions. They're driven by your perceptions. Think about the choices you see in life. They're driven by your perceptions. By coming to understand how you are perceiving your life, you can begin to change your programmed habits of perception, leading to new emotional and behavioral responses and new options and choices. Everyone has habits and patterns. They walk the way they walk, talk the way they talk, and think the way they think. Now, we end up with habits and patterns for a reason, so that we can get on with being and doing in the world without having to think too much or expend too much time and energy on everyday living. So mostly, our habits and patterns serve us. The problem comes about when you find that you've developed patterns of behavior and response that are undermining you in living your life in the way you truly desire to live it. Phobias, anxieties, overwhelming emotional responses, fears, all the negative programming you've accumulated, especially during your younger years, all of those negative patterns are stopping you from being the person you truly desire to be. Now, many people get stopped in the process of reprogramming themselves because they fall for the trap of thinking that now that they're adults, they're stuck. Their process of development is over. Well, it isn't. Current research is showing that the brain contains and continues to retain high levels of neuroplasticity. Our brains can continue to grow at any age. One of the wonderful revelations of the 21st century science is the improvement in our knowledge of nerve cell development among older adults. Known as neurogenesis or brain plasticity, this new knowledge is showing us that the brain has the ability to change throughout life by forming new connections between brain cells and to alter function. For a long time, it was assumed that as we become older, the connections in the brain became fixed, and then it was just a matter of time before we started losing brain cells. However, this assumption is being aggressively challenged by recent studies showing that the brain never stops changing. Now, when you realize this fact, it doesn't really make sense to carry an "I am what I am" attitude. You are not who you are who you are becoming. One important aspect here to free yourself up to change is to stop identifying with your personality and patterns. Instead, of thinking in negative ways, such as I'm depressed, or being quick to anger, or a slow learner, or whatever, start identifying with the I that owns and chooses positive things. This means shifting to become the owner of your patterns and responses rather than a victim to them. This means taking positive control of your own life rather than allowing yourself to continue the negative patterns. As Osho, an Indian guru and spiritual teacher, put it, the mind is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. One way to become the master of your mind is through the use of hypnosis. With the use of hypnosis, you can actually start better utilizing your conscious mind. You see, most of the time in everyday life, we bring very low levels of consciousness to what we do. We carry out our habitual subconscious habits and patterns without even realizing it's happening, and not really knowing how it's happening. Often we find ourselves totally unaware even as to what mood we might be in, such as feeling grumpy but not realizing so until someone asks, "Are you in a bad mood?" We are, in essence, very poor witnesses to our own processes of perception, cognition, and behavior. Our conscious cognitive processes are like an ongoing cascade of words, pictures, sounds, feelings, emotions, etc. This cascade is typically happening outside of consciousness, because as viewers of Loving Life know, emotions and feelings are part of our subconscious mind. When we do become conscious of it, we are limited in how much of it we are truly conscious of because of our subconscious programming. The words we speak to ourselves as part of our conscious mind are powerful, self-hypnotizing tools, whether we choose to utilize them or not. If we allow them to just flow without being actively aware, they will be spoken on autopilot from our subconscious programming, and they will serve to reinforce that particular programming. Patterns will persist, and we'll get more of what we've always got, whatever that may be. By thinking thoughts or saying words such as, "I'm fat," "I'm stupid," "I'll never find someone to love me," "I'll never have a good job," "I'll never be able to stop smoking," all we're doing is reinforcing the negative subconscious programming, and we'll likely never change those things about us. Through taking charge of our internal dialogue and using it with consciousness and intent, we find ourselves with a means to steer the flow of our cognitive cascade in a more useful, positive direction, as well as a means to bring our own consciousness and cognition back to bear upon our programming, and thus a means to rewrite that programming. When people want to change, they often look for the quick fix. This is quite natural, but the quickest way to get change happening is to engage our God-given natural and innate abilities to learn and change. Now this is enormously important. In making change, it is essential to be aware to change, to believe you can change. If you don't have that belief, the belief in your God-given ability to change, there will likely be no change. By using hypnosis, you can become aware of the key operational concepts, beliefs, values, ego stories, and habits that sit within your subconscious programming. And by becoming aware, you can begin the change you desire. Now, this skill is one of the most valuable you can ever develop in terms of taking charge of your life. And by using hypnosis, you're making a solid, positive start. And be sure to check my website for upcoming Take Back Control of Your Life workshops. The workshops are free of charge. If you have goals you'd like to achieve but have been unable to do so, attending one of my workshops may be all you need to take back control of your life. Well, I'm sure I've given you some things, positive things, to think about. Send any questions or comments you have to me at charlie@mtn18.com, and I'll answer them in future segments of Loving Life. I'm Charlie Silva, and I'm asking you, loving life, are you loving yours? If so, wonderful. If not, why not? If there's something that's stopping you from loving your life, what is it? And let's find ways to overcome it. Always remember that you are awesome. Have a wonderful day filled with love and gratitude.